What is up, gentlemen? NYKF 31, Madden 19, Playbook time. Here are the three we've done so far. We're going on with the Broncos here. Some weekend league footage. And what to say about the Broncos playbook? You see I have the Bills playbook here at number 16. This is a fluid list. These things will move up and down as I do more playbooks. But what I said about the Bills playbook is that it was one of those playbooks that when I first started running it, I hated it. And the more I ran it, the less I hated it. I didn't love it, but I didn't, you know, dread playing out of it as much. And this playbook is pretty similar to that type of feeling. When I first ran it, first game and a half, couldn't stand it. And while I don't love it, I don't think it's a great playbook. And again, the caveat here, we're running these plays as a personal house rule for this exercise, stock, and running stock plays is hard. It's not easy. It's not easy in weekend league. It really isn't. If we run a nice little stick concept there, that was a stick concept that sometimes I swear the receivers sometimes they behave and they run their routes with some gusto. Sometimes they run their routes right into hooks. That time, well, what helped me out there is that I ran it and attacked a user. He was kind of not sure where to go. But anyway, as far as the Broncos playbook, the weird thing about this playbook is that it'll have a formation like this, gun spread, which is pretty basic. It's not the flashiest gun spread in the world. I'm always going to be comfortable in a spread, 2x2 or spread trip set. That's kind of like the way I roll. But on a basic level, it has some good stuff. As I run a little double slant there. Only thing worse than double slant is mirrored double slants, but I also have crap like that. But what I found strange about this is that there weren't a whole heck of a lot of ways to attack cover 2 with sideline high-lows to conflict the corner out of doubles, out of trips, anything out of 2x2, but you had a whole slew of them out of empty, which I thought was just really, really weird. You have your hitch seam, which is more of a cover 3 single high beater, which you can run against cover 2 at times when people are doing protect the sticks and all that good stuff. But as far as default cover 2 attackers, not a whole heck of a lot. You do have mesh Bronco there in doubles Y flex, which is okay. You do have levels. Some levels are spaced better than others, and you're played by auto chuck animations on some of them. This play here is pretty neat. I like this option route here to the tight end. I like the way it breaks more when it's that length as opposed to the short one that you find on the stick. Like right there, I hit the in. He brought his nickel corner blitz there. I had the out route there as well. I had my choice, but I wanted to get the ball out of there quick, and I was able to get it underneath the linebacker, so there's plenty of space there. But what I found generally is that while it didn't have as many natural cover 2 beaters that I would like, had a ton of single high stuff that you can attack the sidelines with flood concepts against cover 3. And that's one of the reasons why some of these levels concepts are problematic. Go back and look at that. You'll see that my slot receiver got auto-chucked, and it completely screwed up the basing of the play. You can always hit that table route on those sail concepts, like level sail, unless a hard flat is out there for the most part. Sometimes a quarter flat or seam flat can get to it, depending on what mood they're in. The level side, again, sometimes they get forced into auto chuck animations, and it can throw down or slow down the timing or the progression on that play. Tight slots. These are the kind of stick routes that I like, the quick, sharp ones that break quick. He read that with the user as far as the side they thought I was going to go to, but again, sharp underneath, short, quick little route, he can't get there. So, again, single high, and this is hitch outside, slot seam, hoss, and you read it like smash. If you get space to bang it down the seam, you can. If not, read that bailing corner, and away you go. Gonna go with some tempo, try to get on the board here before the half. Nice dagger concept here. I think I check out of it though and go for reverse. I think he's going to be blitzing. I think that's why I did that. Could have just stayed in it, but just straight for reverse. I just check it down there and Christian McCaffrey with that never stumble. It's a nice job. Going to stay in it. Looks like you're going to be in too high here, so we're going to go with double posts. This is actually a pretty good double post, this play action read. And there's another one like this out of doubles. He's on the first one. The second one takes forever to clear. So I throw the zig out when he passes the outside hook and beats his leverage, and unfortunately I got a bad throw, bad dice roll throw there. That's a good solid play that I like a lot as well. Empty Bronco. Good flood concepts here. Mirrored smash concepts. There's things you can do if you're playing in a more competitive environment where you can motion guys to create all kinds of wonderful stuff. Just going to run a stock here, get it out to Christian McCaffrey. And again, if you're struggling with making basic reads against cover 2 and cover 3 against people who aren't that exotic, best thing you can do is get really comfortable running curl flat, smash, hitch seam. Get really comfortable doing those. You'll be amazed at how much better and how much more efficient you'll be. If you're a beginner type player, or you're a little bit below average and you want to get more efficient and you're trying to figure out ways to do that and you're not really sure how to go about doing it, you'd be amazed that there are a handful of stock concepts there that if you integrate them more can help you do that. Flood's a good one. Flood, some levels concepts it's hit and miss, but flood, curl flat, smash, hitch seam, those are good core concepts you should integrate more if you find yourself bogging down sometimes, or if you're struggling making basic reads. Levels also, and shallow cross and mesh. And they got 2 empty sets here. Empty trips tight end. I found both of them particularly useful, which is rare. Usually when you have 2 empty sets, one of them is useful, one of them is trash if you're lucky. And again, same thing. He's in cover 3 here. And this really isn't ideal for cover 3. You see here the hitches were covered. And I'm actually pretty fortunate there that I got a good pass lead combined with ball trajectory. That's a situation where you'd want to run a sail concept, turn one of those hitches into a streak, or run hitch seam. And if you want to run sail, you kind of want to also maybe turn one of those routes into a check down as well. Just kind of make sure you have all your bases covered. We're going to go back to this dagger concept. We're going to read the seam out. We're going to have a nice little window there. Deep attack isn't great. You'll see there in that that post play is good. It's a good quarters beater. We're going to, not take any chances here. It's a little time on the clock and kick the field goal. So now we're going to start out in some under center in the second half, and you have your usual entree of trash. An I-form slot, there's just nothing there. You have that wheel post play as your 1 or 2 callable pass plays in that set. We're just going to run power. I try to resist the urge to bounce it outside, but I didn't really trust what I had inside of there, so I stretch it out there, and I only gained 1 yard. Fade smash is okay. I from close, decent. Their single back, this single back wide deep trips is horrible, completely useless. You can run the ball a little bit out of it, but the pass plays in it are disgustingly bad. There's not much you can do with it. Gonna run stick here and hope, and again, that's the bad stick route, where they just mindlessly run their route right into the leverage of a buzzing defender. And what's worse is that you don't have the pass mechanics to throw away from the defender's leverage. That's how you'd want to. That's how you would teach that route. The receiver will read the leverage of the defender and settle into a spot opposite his leverage, and the quarterback will throw away from the leverage, so he doesn't get detonated. This play here, this fake rub, which would be great if you had the ability to pick defenders, isn't horrible. I ran that play wrong. One of the bad things about this is that Just not going to get enough reps with certain plays. I want to get this done. If I threw that little angle route sooner, would have gotten some yards. But again, I just wasn't familiar with the timing of the play. It was the first time I ever ran it, and I, ran it poorly. This is, again, double post, play action read. This is how Y cross should work. That crossover with a tight end will occupy the user, or should occupy as well, a deep defender and conflict him, and you just throw the post behind it. So really what you're seeing with this playbook is what's good is really, really simple. And I say this over and over again. Madden is a base play game. The simpler you get, the better you'll do. Even comp players. If you notice, comp players, most really good comp players, they're efficient at a small handful of things. People say, yeah, they run 3 or 4 plays out of one formation. But what they have their base set up, and then they have their constraint set up. That's how football works. Now, when you're running a playbook normally, what you have is base without the constraints. You don't have the window dressing in these stock playbooks. So you have to create the window dressing. What Madden misses is the seasoning to the steak. You can't really conflict and get mismatches using motion. You don't have constraint routes and route tags to basic concepts. You only have a handful of double moves that that can work. Like you can't tie quick slant to a sluggo, or you can't really tie the curl hitch concept with a curl and go. But there are some double move routes that are completely overpowered, like the chair route. It's just one of those things. This is not a very good version of a sail concept. I don't like sail concepts that don't give me a level underneath the corner route. I had to scramble around for my life. Stock, that play is not very good. Using motion and using hot routes, you can turn that play into a monster. So again, we just kind of scrambled and got what we could get. We're going to go bunch. Going to run a little basic base, but we're going to audible into dig return. And again, this is what I'm talking about route tags and constraints. If you run a lot of mesh, if you run a lot of digs, you'll run mesh return, dig return, where you fake the inward motion and cut it back out, and you tag it with a corner post if they overplay it, or if they overplay the deeper square and over it. That looks like a middle of the field levels concept, but again, the return breaks out and creates space. If they overplay it, you have space to the outside. If they overplay the square in, you have the late breaking corner post route, which will defeat the leverage of the corner and get behind the safety who's overplaying the dig if he overplays it. That's how constraint routes and route tags work in real life, and you don't really have that mirrored in the game, replicated in the game very well, because of a combination of how routes develop as far as speed of the route, spacing of the routes, and how defenders can move laterally. And plus with the God view, it's, the user can anticipate stuff that a real-life defender can't. So you're kind of always going to be limited as far as how effective those type of things are going to be, but they could still be better than what they are. Here I'm just going to audible to a run. I was tempted to run some play action there, but then my brain got the better of me, so I'm just going to, plow right ahead and get the first down. Really wish under center was much better than it is. If you're going to go under center a lot in this game, you almost have to go multiple tight end, or single back doubles or single back wide trips. Playing out of the eye is a complete waste of time. And here's why you can't play out of the eye. You can't run play action. Here's what's going to happen. More often than not, that's why you cannot rely on play action very often. You have teams in the league where close to half their passes are off of play action. And on average, if I had to, put a guess on it, I would say it's not uncommon for 20 to 30% of pass attempts to be off of play action. In Madden, that's got to be 5% or less. 20 to 30% is probably a little bit high, but you get my point. Play action is a really good concept if you don't show it too much. Shallow cross, you got the square in, and you got the wheel concept, and we hit the post. And this happens with me a lot. I play so much quarters and so much match concepts that when I'm playing someone that's giving a problem, they'll run it against me in rage and retaliation. But they don't understand the concepts of why it works. So when I see it, I just almost always just blow it apart. He was in quarters, and one safety related to number 2, which left the number 1 all alone once he broke to the middle of the field. So there you go. This game here, we come out in Weak Eye Pro. Again, not a whole heck of a lot here. You got, you can pop the skiddy post here against the right thing. You only really have 3 options. You have, either post route or that little hitch. He's in cover 2. He's squatting underneath, so we're just going to go to one of the post routes and we're going to hit it. We got that 99 overall Patty Mahomes doing work. Again, run these play action plays at your own risk. Play action just boils down to finding out which ones get you instantaneously sacked and which ones you can run for your life a little bit and have a chance to get the pass off. That only comes through trial and error. Weak slot. Why do I go into this formation? I think it's because I want to try an auto motion play action. This play action power is what I wanted to try. I was curious how it would sync with that curl route. I think that's what I do here. Yeah, we're going to audible to that. I was really curious to see what the timing on that would be. I don't anticipate having the corner open, maybe the flat. So we had the curl route there, and boom, we hit it. So that was a play action pass play that did not get you sacked instantaneously. That's always good to know. Going to stay in this weak eye slot for a bit. He's staying in this 2-3-5 wide nickel here. Did I run this twice in a row? Nah, I audible to a run. Just way too soft there. Way too soft. But we're on a good little march here. I haven't run anything that would get me blown up. Gun split slot. This is one of the worst formations I've ever seen. Very little you can do out of this. Corner strike has been rendered pretty much useless. That's typical EA. Rather than fix something that's overpowered just by balancing it out so that ratings and mechanics would do the job on it, they make it useless. There is 0 blitz. I just, threw it out there. That really is only going to be good against either that or a hard flat cover 2 or a cloud flat that sinks down late. Living on the wow side here at double slant. We're going to audible out of that. That sail concept is not that great. Again, that corner route's going to take forever. We, audible back to it. Low pass. We don't get them killed. That's really the best way to run that play. If you're going to run a slant and not want to have too much of a stroke, run it like that. Now here, I don't know why I tried this. I just wanted to see how that corner post developed. And this just kind of shows just how these receivers just are oblivious to how they're being played. I mean, I know better than that. I knew he was going to elongate that. I just kind of wanted to see what it would do. And that's what happened. Terrible run there. Again, just an awful formation. Awful formation. Shovel option's pretty fun, but how much are you going to really rely on that? This isn't the best shallow cross in the world. You got a Taylor out there and an out on one side. You got the curl and the shallow cross here on the other. We just hit the shallow cross. This really isn't the formation you want to spend much of any time in. I should get out of it like right now. And we are. Gun doubles. Shark HP wheels pretty nice. Fade HP wheels okay in certain situations. You have your angle, the X dig. That hitch route is a little too deep in relation to that square in by default. If you audible it, if you audible to a quick hitch, it'll be shorter. and you can have some good spacing there. There, I thought he was in cover 2, which that double outs would work nicely against cover 2 once they work underneath those outside vertical hooks skating out. But he was in cover 3, and I didn't have enough space there for that angle route to have room to operate. So field goal attempt here. Next possession, we are going to come out and wide trips weak. Just solid wide trick. It's a solid wide trip. So you have your usual staples there. The play action screen takes too long to get going. This is a good levels play. This one is spaced nice. You still have that auto collision. Just watch the auto collision on R1. It just runs right into the collision. And you see how that makes you have to hold the ball longer. That's better than the one that I ran previously that I got picked on. I'm going to run it again with the other side. Looks like he's either going to blitz or I'm going to have one-on-one to the outside, which I do, and we're going to hit that off coverage inside curl route. Tempo, tempo, tempo. I'm not going to run it 3 times in a row. We're going to audible to flood. Then change to try to pop a run in here. See if I can sneak this bad boy in here for some yards. Plur does a good job there. Call timeout and regroup. Gun trips tight end. That PA slot corner. That fork route is nasty, or that fork concept. Fork, scissors, whatever you want to call it. And that shallow cross coming underneath it. That's really, really nice. If you want, you can create a mesh concept there between the shallow cross and the tight end. Step up, step up, step up. Boom. Beautiful. He chased the drag, and I had room to rifle that bad boy in there. And trips tight end is one of the best formations in the game. Very few playbooks that have trips tight end have a bad trips tight end. Gun bunch, flanker drive. You get the post and square in coming in from the left. Not the post, the drag and the square in coming in from the left, post to the right. I'm going to get some really nice space for this little outward breaking hitch route here. Look at all of that space as everyone gets run off. Wish that would happen on more concepts like that. Just settle into all that space. That's all you got to do. Nice, simple, safe play. Going to stay in gun bunch for a bit here. Going to run flood. He's either going to be in cover 3 or man 1, one of the two. Post snap, I'll figure out which one that is and then attack it accordingly. If it's man 1, which when it does that, looks like it probably is, or some type of match, I got one-on-one there and just hit him on the cut. And I really love Keyshawn in this game. Really like him. The man catches the football. Here he's in 2 deep. He's not base of line, so he's either going to be in quarters or cover 2, cover 6, cover 9, something like that. I'm thinking it's going to be in another edition of Rage Quarters, which it is. I don't want to take a chance on this play, so I just throw it away. And when you do that, doink, it goes off the crossbar sometimes. Now, I'm 100% certain he's going to do that again. So I'm going to run tight end in, and what I think he's going to do, what a lot of these guys do, is that they screw around with those quarter flats. And what's going to happen here is that he sure enough is going to do that, and it's going to ruin his reroute. I'm going to have all kinds of space to go right down to seam. The safety can't get over there because a quarter flat didn't create a bracket, didn't wall him off, didn't redirect, nothing. Because he changed him to either a cloud or a hard flat. And he's going to rage quit. So that's that for the Broncos playbook. And, like I said, what's effective in it is stuff that's really, really basic, and that's okay. But I don't think it's better than the Bills playbook. So I'm going to put the Bills playbook up 1 notch at 15 and put the Broncos at 16 in the middle of the road. And next up will be the Brownies. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you all later. Peace.